Only our cameras were there as Dior Johnson walked into court today facing felony assault and strangulation charges.
San Ysidro High School basketball star Mikey Williams is facing multiple charges tonight related to a shooting in Hamul.
Yo, what happened to these, bro? I remember Dior Johnson being like one of the biggest basketball players in high school basketball ever, bro.
By his own players.
Kicked off the team after he was charged with...
Police say two student athletes were just arrested in connection with a move that took place last month.
Yeah, okay, so if you click this video, I'm assuming you enjoy basketball in some capacity. And if that's the case, you and I got something in common. What's good? My name is OA, also known as OA Shot It. I'll be shooting Anyway, so I've been filming high school sports for about 4 years now, and I can truly say from the bottom of my heart, it's one of God's greatest gifts to mankind. I've seen NBA stars in their early stages. I've seen get their ass whooped on court by their own teammates. I've seen a lot of shit. I mean, I love it. It's raw. It's the purest form of basketball.
Man, Sharife Cooper, bro. Oh my God, bro. Sharife Cooper back in high school basketball, bro. Man, he was a GOAT. What happened to him, bro? He's in China now, man. Ash Cash broke up with him too. That nigga's in shambles right now.
And just dribbling on your own. And it's raw for a reason. I mean, aside from the fact that the refs don't get paid enough to give a fuck about the games they're refereeing, these are all just kids, bro. These are teenage boys, and it's easy to forget because of just how good these kids are at such young ages. But they will remind you real fast.
Noah Farrakhan, that's his name, Noah Farrakhan.
These kids are not playing for a paycheck. Or these kids are playing for pride. They're playing for offers, free college. They're playing for goddamn school spirit. I mean, some of these kids are just playing to stay out of trouble.
Duncanville's cold, bro.
But let me stop yapping. Sometimes
I ain't gonna lie, I used to be hella tapped into high school basketball, bro.
These emotions go unchecked. At the end of the day, basketball is just a small portion of these kids' lives with a lot of other moving parts. In short, sometimes these kids lose their damn mind, and it can get scary.
Cloud, the last one is
wild. Wildest stories in high school basketball. Let's lock in. This video is in iceberg format, which means the stories will be progressively wilder as they go on, I guess. I don't fucking know, bro. Just watch the video.
Mikey Williams, bro. Yo, I never knew what happened. Yo, I heard that he got arrested, but I didn't know how bad it was, bro.
Surely if you clicked on this video, you have some idea of who Mikey Williams is, but if you don't, or you've been living under a rock for the last 3 years, I'll explain. Mikey Williams was essentially the high school basketball player of the last decade, as he was pretty much one of the most popular we've seen in recent times. Mikey was shoved into the spotlight early on, dating back to middle school, where he gained notoriety playing with Bronny James on a stacked chips team. He was one of the most exciting players, not only in that crazy 2023 class, but in the entirety of high school basketball, and it came quickly. His freshman year was one of the most memorable we've ever seen. Buddy was going viral like every damn week. You could not scroll social media without seeing some sort of...
Mikey Williams was bigger than a lot of NBA players, bro. Now that nigga not even... Man, oh man, bro.
Of crazy dunk or him posting a insane box score. Like, this kid scored 77 points as a 15-year-old.
I remember that, bro. That was crazy.
27. Shit, some of y'all ain't even scored that this whole season. But that's enough glazing. My bad. You could argue Mikey's stardom sort of tapered off in the following years as he transferred to 3 different schools in those 3 years. But nonetheless, Mikey was...
Because he got so big his freshman year, bro.
Massively successful.
Not bigger than Zion. At a point he was. I promise you he was. Before Zion popped off for real, Mikey Williams was bigger than Zion. I'm telling you right now.
Millions of dollars before the age of 18 off brand deals, one being Puma, with whom he signed with to become the first ever high school basketball player to sign a shoe deal, amongst many others. But as we all know, more money, more problems. On March 28, 2023, a 911 call was made by someone claiming to have been shot at by Mikey Williams at his mansion in San Diego the night before. The story to this day is still super vague, but it goes something like this. A group of 5 individuals pull up to Mikey's mansion in an Uber, including 2 girls and 3 guys. One of the girls amongst the group was in contact with another resident of the home, who we now know was allegedly. Then an argument breaks out between and the guests after the guests request a quote-unquote walkthrough of the house, whatever the fuck that means. To this day, we do not know what escalated the argument or why exactly those 5 people really pulled up in the first place.
I think Mikey and his homeboy was trying to like fuck the girls, but the guys wasn't going for it, and that's what led to whatever's gonna happen.
But I'm sure some of you have some decent guesses. At some point, Mikey comes outside in the first place, but I'm sure some of you have some
Set someone up, plot against, conspired against someone.
Decent guesses. At some point, Mikey comes outside with a handgun and fires an unspecified number of shots at the vehicle, with one hitting the rear of said vehicle. Nobody got hit, but
why is this nigga shooting people, bro? Why is Mike, bro? That's my thing. I heard about this case back when it happened, bro. Why is Mikey Williams shooting niggas, bro? You are a high school basketball player with all the potential in the world, bro. Why are you shooting a nigga? Mind you, this nigga is from the suburbs, bro. I know his fucking uncle, bro. He is from the suburbs. This nigga over here shooting and shit, bro. Like, what the hell? Trying to be gangster and shit. Like, nigga, if you don't calm your ass down. He ruined his future off of that shit, too, bro. Man, dumbass nigga, bro. Come on.
At that point, the damage had already been done.
If you try to shoot somebody, at least have your homeboy do it instead of you.
Officers responded to the initial 911 call almost 3 weeks later on April 13th, where they executed a search warrant at Mikey's house. He was arrested the next day facing 6 whole felony charges, including 5 charges of assault with a deadly weapon and 1 count of firing into an occupied
Shut up before he
vehicle.
shoots you. Nigga, I am in Nashville, Tennessee. I dare him to pull up on me, bro.
Had he been found guilty of these charges, he would have done 30 years in prison. Insane shit, bro. Luckily, his lawyers were on demon timing because he somehow beat this case. Mikey took a plea deal to a much lesser felony charge of making a criminal threat, and as a result, he was ordered to complete a gun safety course.
Man, Memphis, Penny Hardaway, they was behind all that shit, nigga. They made sure he ain't do that shit.
Attend anger.
They made sure he ain't go that far, bro.
Management classes and do 80 hours of community service, which, with all things considered, is an insane slap on the wrist. Provided that he doesn't get in trouble with the law again, the charge can even get downgraded to a misdemeanor. Mikey's currently at the University of Central Florida, where he's slated to be back on the court next fall. Good luck, Mikey.
Oh, he's playing again, bro? I thought he was at Memphis, bro. He must have transferred. Arterio Morris. I think I know this one. I'm not sure, though.
Looking back at the 2022 recruiting class,
Nigga, is that Brandon Miller? B. Miller? The Brandon Miller right there? Man, oh man.
it's always interesting because at the time,
That is Brandon.
it seemed so incredibly stacked that some considered it borderline generational. And with all things so, looking back at the 2022 recruiting class is always interesting because at the time, it seemed
That nigga be playing. Let me check.
so incredibly stacked that some considered it borderline generational. And with all things considered, and I'm admittedly being a prisoner of the
Arterio is better than Mikey. I don't remember that nigga.
moment right now. It kind of was. I mean, let's look back. When you look at the top 30 ranked players in that 247 composite, you see that 17 were drafted one and done. That's
17, bro. Brandon.
more than half that are already in the league currently playing in their rookie season.
That's kinda
4 are
crazy,
projected
bro.
to be taken in this year's draft, including Kyle Filipowski, Tyrese Proctor, Khalil Ware, and Adem Bona, which leaves 9 players who are each currently thugging it out, doing their thing in college, right? Fuck no. There is one player that's not enrolled in any school right now doing Lord knows what, and sadly, he just so happens to be one of the
Yo, y'all remember Zion Harmon, bro? He's probably gonna talk about him. Y'all remember Zion Harmon, bro? Julian Newman's friend? That nigga was tough as hell, too. He was in Nashville once, so I don't know what he was doing here.
most talented players I've ever seen with The Rock. Let's talk about Arterio Morris. Now, Arterio was about as unique of a player as it gets. Coming out of Kimball High School in Dallas, Texas, everyone in the city knew that he was special very early on. He showcased a distinctive style of play, incorporating a silky smooth handle to go with elite athleticism and change of pace, with a certain level of dog you just wasn't gonna match. Although the city always recognized Terrio as one of the best players in the country, it took him some time to get recognition on a national scale, as he didn't earn a
He looks
3-star
tough,
ranking until
though.
the tail end of his sophomore year in early.
I don't know who this
He had
is, though.
ambitions much higher than 3 stars, though, which resulted in him transferring to Prolific Prep for a brief stint, and then he was right back to Kimball in time for his junior year. A couple of spectacular AAU campaigns, a few thousand Instagram and TikTok followers, and state championship losses later, and Terrio was a household name to anybody who knew anything about high school sports. At this
Not
point,
to
he was
me.
a consensus 5-star recruit, ranked as the number 2 point guard in the nation, and will commit to play for Chris
He assaulted his girl? Oh, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga?
Beard's Texas
He had it
Longhorns
all.
in July 2021 before earning a McDonald's All-American nod, an invite to the Iverson Classic, and a bunch of other honors. But following the theme of the video, these niggas can't stay out their own way. So let me just tell you how shit hit the fan. On the night of July 12, 2022, a long Instagram post was posted by Terrio's then girlfriend at the time, accusing Terrio of some very illegal things. I'll throw some screenshots up, but to paraphrase it, the expose essentially detailed how Terrio would abuse her. The caption would illustrate a grim picture of her and Terrio's relationship, stating things like,
Okay, y'all want to read this real quick? Let me spin it. All right, let me skip it. So here goes my story. I want to
which escalated to him, quote, grabbing her, snatching her up by her clothes, and violating her because she broke up with him. She would describe instances of him driving all the way from Austin to Dallas, which is a 3-hour trip, to pop up at her place of work.
Nigga, 3 hours? Okay, so first off, why were you dating him when y'all live 3 hours away from each other? Man, oh man, that's a lot, bro. There's just so many things wrong with that relationship, bro.
And argue. A separate instance told of a time where Terrio came to her job, threatened to break her car windows, managed to take her keys and throw them in a ditch so she couldn't leave. The final straw came when Terrio, quote, grabbed her by the left wrist and pulled her up off the bed, and then grabbed at her sports bra near her chest and pulled, which caused a, quote, 3-inch long abrasion on her neck.
Bro, nah, he's crazy. He's crazy, bro.
Y'all get the point. Shortly after this incident, 911 was called to the house. According to the affidavit, during initial questioning, Terrio told police that there was no physical contact made between him and the victim, essentially telling police he didn't touch her. However, after police saw the bruises on the victim's neck, Terrio, quote unquote, altered his initial statement, which is obviously a big ass no-no. He was then placed under arrest and charged with assault causing bodily injury to a family member, a Class A misdemeanor. According to the post, she would then file a restraining order on Terrio, which was easily granted. The protective order stated that he was not allowed to contact her nor be within 500 feet of her, and that any violation would be an automatic felony. But that didn't really stop anything. Now, according to the caption, it's not really clear in which order these events took place, but in the post, she would include videos of Terrio being put in cuffs and arrested by police, audio recordings of him making threats toward her, screenshots of him brandishing a gun, and text messages between the two, amongst other things.
Keep that nigga locked up, bro. What the hell?
Social media like a typhoon, quickly spreading and becoming the topic of discussion amongst Dallas residents and high school basketball fans alike. The most inquiring minds belong to Texas Longhorn faithfuls, though, not only for the obvious concerns with the allegations surrounding their brand new 5-star recruit, but one very interesting detail. As I said before, the allegations came out on July 12th. However, Terrio was booked into jail June 2nd. For you smart people out there, that is an entire 1 month and 10-day period where absolutely nothing took place. No statements, no announcements, no suspensions, nothing. They kind of just pretended the whole situation never happened. Longhorn fans would question why no action was taken, as there was no chance that the school and staff were unaware that this was going on. People question why the situation wasn't handled more swiftly, why he was—
Nigga, so Texas was just like hoping for him not to like have done it, or that he could just get out of it so that he could hoop for them. Nigga, that kind of just shows you that these college basketball teams and coaches and shit, they just have no morals, bro.
Wasn't cut from the team before things got messy. Of course, you had your usual crowd of absolute dorks who blamed the victim for trying to quote unquote ruin his career and yada 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 whatever. As some of you may or may not know, this was not the nail in the coffin for Terrio's career at all.
Are you serious?
Terrio was able to play a full season afterwards,
Are you serious? He played a full season after this?
0.8 points, 1.4 rebounds, and 0.5 assists per game. He would enter the transfer portal.
Hold on.
At the end of the season, and well, you know, some other things would happen, but that's a story for another day. Yeah, today is in fact another day. Basically, the story that I wasn't prepared to share earlier was the fact that Terrio entered the transfer portal and ended up at the University of Kansas, but before the season even started, Terrio had an open case in the state of Kansas for an accusation of rape, and he was subsequently cut from the team. Obviously, slippery ass slope for me to talk about it, given the fact that it wasn't like said and done or whatever, and all the facts hadn't yet come out. I think at that point the only thing released was like an affidavit, and that's obviously not enough to convict a nigga of a crime. He hadn't even gone to trial yet. I would like to go in depth about the details of the accusations, but that doesn't really serve any purpose given the fact that nothing came out of them. But if you are curious, I guess you could just search it up on your own. Nigga, I ain't talking about that shit. But yeah, as of Tuesday, April 9th, the case is now closed. Terrio posted some paperwork on his Instagram basically saying that the case was closed due to a lack of evidence. So,
so there wasn't any evidence. Okay. Nigga, they cut him without evidence. See, that's the shit I'm talking. See, Why? Yo, OG, why? Now, this wasn't fair. There was no evidence that the grape happened. But when he hit that girl, it was clear-cut evidence. Clear-cut evidence. This grape allegation, there wasn't no evidence. You can't really accuse a man. You feel me? But still, why would you want someone like this on your team, bro? After you just heard he beats women, why would you want him on your team?
Yeah, I hope that boy can stay out of trouble, get back on the court, you know what I'm saying? Do his thing. Yeah.
Cloud, what would you do if this was your son? If my son got caught beating a woman, I would beat the fuck out of him, bro. I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, I'm gonna beat him worse. Like, way worse. Way worse. Then I'm gonna well, if she got a restraining order, he can't apologize. I'm gonna get him to apologize to her parents. And whatever her dad does to him, he does. I ain't gonna lie. That's just what it is, bro. You can't beat women. You can't beat women at all. Now, if that nigga's trying to kill my son, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna have to step in. But he can hit him as much as he wants to, bro. That's just the consequences, bro. After that, we move on. There ain't that much more we could do about that. But if I ever catch him doing that shit again, I'm turning him into the police. Because you're not gonna be beating women out here.
In the last entry, I talked a bit about how it's so fascinating to me to see how these graduating classes of hoopers pan out. Some live up to the expectations put upon them, putting up stats and maintaining their rankings all throughout high school.
I don't know who
keeping their
Zach Brown is
reputation
either.
all the way to the association. Names like Anthony Edwards and Zion Williamson come to mind. These players are exactly who we thought they were. On the flip side, however, it's very common for kids to be highly touted early on and then fizzle out later. For natural reasons, though. Some kids peak way too early. Their peers catch up to them physically, and then they begin to look way less dominant as time passes on. Some players just don't work as hard as they should have, relying on their athleticism instead of developing and improving their skill sets. What isn't as common, however, is being the motherfucker in the class that gets forgotten because you're a crash out. And you transition from a man to a woman.
Whoa.
Like Zach Brown. No, not that Zach Brown. This Zach Brown.
That nigga really transitioned into a woman. Let's peep.
There's a reason you have no idea who this is. Let's get into it. Zach Brown was a 7'1" center in the 2017
7'1"? Nigga, I thought he was gonna be like 6'3".
class for Miami, Florida. Zach Brown was a 7'1" center in the 2017 class for Miami, Florida. Growing up, he was one of those kids that was always bigger than everybody around him. In fact, Zach was 6'2" by the age of 10. It was never gonna be anything but basketball for young Zach. But the path to the conventional hoop dream was a little more hectic than most. Now, believe me when I say he comes from extremely humble beginnings. Zach was the youngest of 5 boys, all taken care of by a single mother in the tough neighborhood of Overtown, one of the worst areas in Miami. I don't have to go into much detail about what goes down in Overtown, but just know the violent crime rate is about 127% higher than the national average.
Damn.
Anyway, Zach and his family lived in poverty, like real deal poverty. It wasn't uncommon for Zach, who again was a big ass kid, to wear clothes that were several sizes too small. He and his brothers were no strangers to making ends meet, as they would commonly steal food and clothes when things got sparse. He'd recall a story of a time where his mom was hospitalized for an entire month because of a heart condition. Zach and his brothers would sleep at the hospital to stay close to their mother day in and day out until the day they were finally kicked out. Once they returned to their apartment, the lights were cut out. The bills weren't paid, but that was regular for him. At the age of 12, the state took custody of him and his brothers after his mother failed a drug test and was deemed unfit to be a parent. The judge over the case claimed their living situation was, quote, one of the worst he'd ever seen, with not much further details. So we can only
Bro, what? It was that bad? Nigga.
imagine what exactly was going on in that home. After bouncing around from foster home to foster home over and over again, they'd be sent to live with their aunt.
That's an L hospital, though, for kicking them out, bro.
Would stand to become a blessing in disguise. By this point, Zach was 6'5" in the 7th grade, but had never played And around from foster home to foster home over and over again, they'd be sent to live with their aunt, which would stand to become a blessing in disguise. By this point, Zach was 6'5" in the 7th grade, but had never played a game of organized basketball in his life.
6'5" with poor nutrition is crazy, bro. He was just destined to be tall.
Nor did he have any interest in doing so. It was only when his aunt's neighbor saw how physically imposing he was at such a young age, probably thinking to himself, "Why your big ass not playing basketball?" and referred him to Michael Littman, the owner of a now defunct EYBL team called the South Beach All-Stars, that his life would change for good. Littman would convince Zach to play for.
I ain't gonna lie, he just kind of looks fruity in this image. Yep, just knew you can just tell he likes Bud.
His team, but there was much work to be done as Zach was about as coordinated as a baby giraffe. But Zach showed work ethic and promise, and by the 8th grade, he'd already become one of the best prospects in the country. Life would change off the court too, as he would move in with Littman and become an adoptive member of the family. Although his new home, located in the tranquil upper-class neighborhood of Cocoa Beach, was only 10 minutes away from his old.
Yo, W. Ray, Joe Banks. W. Ray. W. Ray family. W. Ray, appreciate you, bro.
Home in Overtown. To Zach, it might as well have been a completely different side of the planet. Fast forward a little later, and Zach is a 5-star recruit averaging 19 points, 17 rebounds, and 8 blocks per game, with offers from schools like Virginia, Miami, Kentucky, and UConn, the latter of which he would commit to later on. This is about as good as it would get for Zach though, as the next year or so of his life would be the most tumultuous sequence of self-inflicted bullshit I've ever heard of in my life.
Tumultuous, bro. Cloud, there's a video at the end of this story. It's the funniest thing of all time. Alright, bro. Yo, y'all keep on talking about this in video, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
The first domino fell in January 2016 when Zach transferred to Putnam Science Academy, a prep school about 20-ish minutes away from the UConn campus. On the surface, the transfer made a lot of sense. Zach had just committed to UConn. Why wouldn't he take the opportunity to play at one of the better prep schools in the country while getting himself acclimated to the environment he'd be living in preparation to go to the league?
That's real.
Well, the reason Zach left in the first place wasn't that cut and dry. Right before he moved, Zach had gotten into an on-court altercation during the game in late December. To keep it sweet, hands were thrown. Littman was quoted saying that Zach didn't start the fight, claiming he was provoked, but it didn't matter because Zach for damn sure finished it. The suspension was indefinite, right in the middle of what was essentially crunch time for most teams trying to make a
That
play.
nigga like damn near kill him, bro. What happened?
Push. And Zach's 28 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 blocks per game would not be easy to replace. I'd like to make it clear that getting into one fight doesn't make you a crash dummy or a menace to society or anything like that, and it's not an indictment on one's character, especially if you were provoked like Zach's guardian claimed he was. However, it would happen again. Zach, after only being at PSA for a grand total of 2 weeks, would get into another on-court fight. This time around was a little more serious. Putnam had a strict no-fight policy which would effectively end his stint at the school for good. Damn. Zach would move back to Miami, which was seemingly becoming a more toxic environment for him between family problems and increasing concerns surrounding him maintaining his grades. To add insult upon injury, he would decommit from UConn, and you can't see me, but I'm doing air quotes, on the 5th of May. Now this is where it gets crazy. 3 weeks later on Memorial Day, the news broke that Zach had been arrested facing charges of armed robbery, 5 counts of credit card fraud, and multiple counts of robbery by sudden snatching, according to Metro-Dade police.
Nigga, why was he robbing niggas, bro? Yo, this nigga was a crash out, bro.
Let me explain something to y'all. This nigga basically got hit with a RICO. This dude, on multiple
serious?
occasions, was going into stores, taking merchandise, and using stolen credit cards. We have now officially entered crash out territory.
Yo, he was using stolen credit cards. Nigga, if you don't put that thug shit down, nigga, you was up, yo, you was 3 years away from being an NBA player and changing your whole life. You are 7 foot and you're actually good at basketball. Why are you doing these things, bro? Nigga, what the hell?
Zach will post a $25,000 bail and was out soon.
Walgreens too? You know how easy it is to steal from Walgreens, bro? They literally don't care half the time, bro. What the hell?
Then Michael Littman, his one-time guardian, severing ties with him, and he would subsequently reunite. This resulted in Michael Littman, his one-time guardian, severing ties with him, and he would subsequently reunite with
This nigga was still living with that nigga Michael? That rich-ass nigga Michael? Are you dumb?
his mom and brother back in Overtown. Now, in most cases, this would essentially be career ending. Zach's baggage was becoming a little too much to bear, and between 2 on-court altercations and the armed robbery, it seemed like Zach's story was coming to an ugly-ass ending. However, he was thrown a lifeline. Zach's cases were dropped following a lack of evidence, and he was focused on getting back on the court and getting his life back on track as soon as possible.
Okay, this is the point where he's supposed to make like the generational comeback that nobody else, like, you feel me, expected him to make. But like, I don't know.
Shenanigans caused him to slide in the rankings, so he dropped the star. But he was still a 4-star, ranked the number 9th center in the class of 2017, and he still had undeniable talent. And although UConn didn't see him as a part of their future, plenty of college coaches did. He would commit to St. John's University on July 21st, 2016. Things were looking up for young Zach. And then they weren't. Zach would enroll at Sarasota Prep for his senior season. For some reason, he didn't stick there either and would transfer to Calusa Prep in October, which would be his final high school. Now, if you're keeping track, that's 4 schools in less than a year.
Yeah, that is crazy. 4 schools in less than a year, bro. That's crazy.
Never a good sign. But anyways, Zach would fly under the radar and sign his letter of intent with St. John's in November. He managed to stay out of the news until January when, you guessed it, he was arrested again for robbing a Walgreens. He was,
bro, if you still, what the fuck are you doing? How are you getting caught, bro? Did you not learn your lesson, bro?
Waiting in line and out the blue reached into the cash register and for robbing a Walgreens. He was waiting in line and out the blue reached into the cash register, grabbed money and dipped. And
he might be the most dumb, bro. He might be the dumbest nigga I've ever heard about. What the fuck are you talking about? You got bored in line and you just... I ain't gonna lie, that nigga does not deserve his hype, bro. Give it to somebody else.
And this time, his big stupid ass was caught on camera. Take a look.
Bro, what is he doing, bro? You was just dumb. Come on, bro. You're stupid.
So, obviously, there's a strong lack of discretion with Buddy. You know when you have an intrusive thought that comes and goes and you think to yourself, damn, I'm tripping.
That nigga literally just stole quarters, bro. He didn't even get money. There gotta be something, there has to be something mentally wrong with him, bro. That does not make sense.
For thinking that, but that's all it is, an intrusive thought. Yeah, Zach's intrusive thoughts turn into action all the time. That little voice in your head that calms you down when you're about to make a decision that can create a bad consequence. I think Zach lacks it. Now I understand Zach had a very rough upbringing and a lack of decent parental figures. And I understand you're simply a product of your environment. But like, bruh, you 7 feet tall trying to rob a Walgreens. You thought you was gonna get away with that shit? And let's be real. A Walgreens of all places, not even a Walmart or a Target. Man, and if that wasn't wacky enough, Zach tried to do the race after making off with his little change. He tried to outrun the police. They would all...
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Bro, he has to have something, bro. There's something not mentally wrong, bro. There's something not mentally right with him, bro. What the fuck? You got to do the dash too?
Obviously catch up to him and arrest him. And in the process, police found out he was driving with a suspended license for unpaid parking tickets.
Bro, oh my God. It gets worse. It keeps on getting worse.
At this point, the hoop dream was completely finished, as St. John's would release him from his NLI a little over a week later. Oh, you thought that was it? What DJ Khaled said.
Another one.
Zachariah Brown would be arrested one more time a month later. Why, you ask?
Please do not tell me he has makeup, lashes, and lipstick on. This nigga. The hoop dreams were done. So he just decided to turn gay. Come on, bro.
Failure to show up to court. And no, you're not bugging. Zach has makeup on in this mugshot. There's also this video that went viral a couple years back that was confirmed to be him as well. Take a look.
Mamba, what is he? Mamba, what is he? What is he? What is he, bro? Go ahead and say it, bro. You get one pass to say it. You get one pass it, bro. You get one pass to say it. Nigga, you get one pass. You get one pass to say it.
Court. And no, you're not bugging. Zach has makeup on in this mugshot. There's also this video that went viral a couple years back that was confirmed to be him as well. Take a look.
Bro. This shit, nah, this is crazy, bro.
I don't.
Nigga, how you finna be that tall, wearing a crop top, in booty shorts? Come on, bro.
Don't fucking know. Now, obviously, as of today, this
nigga just looks goofy, bro. What the hell?
Story is about 7 years old. You may be wondering, whatever became of Zach? Maybe he got his life together, got back on the court.
Imagine seeing a nigga that tall, that big, with lipsticks, makeup, and a crop top on, bro. Nah, bro.
He's playing basketball in some capacity. Maybe somewhere in Puerto Rico or Uzbekistan or something. You'd be wrong. Zach Brown is now Jessica Turberry.
Don't ever go to Jamaica. Don't ever go to Jamaica. Ever. Oh, no. They will have a field day.
We can only hope she's staying out of trouble and living her best life. Okay, I feel like I gotta preface this next story by saying my tone is gonna be a little different. It might get a little silly. And that's cause this nigga is just an idiot fucking degenerate. But I like to make it very clear, like, ain't shit about this next one funny at all. I mean, it might be a little funny. For those of you who are former athletes, whether you just grew up and graduated, or maybe you suffered an injury that cut your career short, or maybe you just fucking suck and you got cut from like JV or something. You all know deep down somewhere, you wish you could have done things just a little differently. I know at least once you wished you could go back in time and put
his brother turned trans too. No, that's a household thing, bro. They wasn't. That's a household thing, bro. I don't know what their mother did to them or what she didn't do to them, but nigga, that's a household thing, bro. That's crazy.
Just a little bit more work in, take shit more seriously, and maybe undo some costly mistakes. For a lot of athletes, it's hard to imagine themselves living a life outside of their sport, and that's completely normal. It be like that sometimes. You move on though, life goes on. Unless you are Sydney Gilstrap Portley. In 2017, Sydney Gilstrap Portley was sitting on the porch of his East Dallas apartment, reflecting on the current state of his life. To keep it simple, Sydney was depressed. He would reminisce about how he came to be at the spot he was at. Sydney grew up with a typical hood baby origin story. He was an only child raised by a teenage single mother, not necessarily because his father didn't want anything to do with him, but because he was in and out of jail. Sydney's father, Sydney Sr., racked up a shit ton of different charges, including 16 felonies and misdemeanors, ranging from aggravated assault to attempted burglary. Clearly, that boy was in love with jail. In any event, Sydney and his mother weren't used to stability, to say the least. They bounced around a lot, from home to home, accepting shelter from any relative that offered. His escape from that came from basketball, of course. Naturally, it was his first love. Sydney was a big fan of LeBron James, so much so that he watched More Than a Game, the documentary about Bron and his high school teammates, every day after school.
Damn.
He saw himself in LeBron, a determined kid with an absent father who was able to rise above it. Now, Sidney wasn't blessed with a 6'8" frame and generational athleticism, but he was a special hooper in his own way. To be completely honest though, the little nigga just wasn't that good. Although talented, he didn't make varsity until his senior year of high school. And even then, he was never able to become a starter, only really ever playing scrub minutes or in blowouts. Sidney had a reputation as a ball hog, rarely passing to his teammates, and he'd fight his coaches as well. I'm sure some of y'all can relate. Sidney's dream of being
So why is he in this video if he wasn't good, bro?
like his idol was slowly slipping away from him, and it took a toll on his mental. He started drinking before games and picking fights with his teammates. Midway through the season, his coaches had enough and cut him loose. After graduation, Sidney would try for several JUCO and D3 schools, but his reputation as a bad teammate kept coaches from taking any legit flyer on him. He was able to play a little bit at Dallas Christian College, but didn't even finish a full season and couldn't stick anywhere else. So Sidney's basketball career was effectively over. Until it wasn't. 6 years later, in 2017, a devastating hurricane wreaks havoc on the southernmost region of Texas, with Houston taking the brunt of the damage. Hurricane Harvey caused catastrophic flooding, hundreds of millions of dollars in damage, and claimed 103 lives. It had everybody in the state of Texas's attention, including Sidney's. Still stuck in that same spot he was at 6 years earlier, 24-year-old Sidney desperately craved a change of pace. So he did what any other normal person in his position would do. Got a damn job? No. Hit the gym? Nope. Went to church and prayed on it? The mosque? Hell nah. Sidney arrived at Skyline High School in Dallas, claiming he was a 17-year-old Hurricane Harvey refugee from Houston named Rashawn Richardson.
Okay, so that's why he's in this video. Yeah, this nigga is... There's something wrong with this nigga. What the hell? Huh?
Oof. He would request to enroll at the school, fill out the paperwork, and it would work. Sidney would take advantage of the loose restrictions on transfers at the time, put in place to accommodate victims of the hurricane. The school district would take in anybody who claimed to be one, regardless of how much documentation they didn't have. All Sidney had to do was lie and say he lost everything in the flooding, which is exactly what he did. I'm gonna speed up the story now. Rashawn wouldn't stay at Skyline for long. He transferred to another school within the district, Hillcrest, which is where his legend would begin. It was at Hillcrest where Rashawn would quickly demonstrate just how much better he was at basketball than everybody else, which again, I'd like to emphasize was because he was 7 years older than everybody. But anyways, standing at 6'1", Rashawn quickly became the go-to guy on the team as his teammates would gravitate towards him while he racked up big performance after big performance.
I think it was a 24-year-old hooping, playing basketball against 15 through 17-year-olds, bro. 15 through 18-year-olds, whatever you want to say. Nigga, did he not have any shame? There's something mentally wrong with this, bro, nigga, bro. There was something mentally wrong with him, bro. Just crazy, bro. 25? Yeah, something wrong with him, bro. Was he talking to the high school girls? Cause he had to act like a regular high school. Oh, I'm already knowing what he did, bro. I'm already knowing what he did.
#1 team in the nation, scoring 40 points in 3 quarters, which added even more buzz to his name. 25-year-old Sidney was making quote-unquote friends off the court too. He was basically Hillcrest High School's main character. Did I mention the nigga was 25 years old? Gossip started around the school though. Sidney didn't look super old for a 25-year-old, but he damn sure didn't look young. He had the letters S and G tatted on his calves, obviously standing for Sidney Gilstrap, but he would tell kids in the school it stood for shooting guard. No bullshit. He'd have his sister and nephew pull up to games and sit in the crowd, except they weren't his sister and nephew. They were his girlfriend and son. Surrounding
They were in on this shit? Nigga, yo, how can you be, bro? How could that be your boyfriend, bro? How could that be your boyfriend and you're just okay with that shit? Nigga, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Spectators would question why the kid was calling Rashawn daddy. Nonetheless, Rashawn was able to infiltrate in peace for a whole 9 months undetected. He'd lead.
This is the mild part. Are you serious? It gets worse.
Losing in the first round of the playoffs, while he averaged over 20 points per game. His dominance earned him a District Offensive Player of the Year award at the end of the season as well. The facade would soon come to an end though. Sometime after March 2018, Rashawn or Sydney decided to suit up and play a couple games at a local AAU tournament. For what reason, I don't know. I mean, I'd assume you want to fly under the radar as much as possible. But anyway, he plays at this local tournament, and one of his old coaches who coached him 6 years earlier spots him. You could only imagine what the coach's immediate reaction was.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
Nigga, that's horrible luck. I know his coach was going crazy, though.
Ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Imagine if he cheated on his girl with a high school student. That's just what I was thinking about. Well, hey, let's keep on watching, though.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
He was surprised to hear that the kid who never passed and tussled with his teammates had now been dominant.
Cloud, if you ever go to Texas, don't go to Red Oak. What's in Red Oak? No. The fuck is in Red Oak, bro? In Oak Cliff or Oak Cliff?
The scene under a fake name. That would mark the end of the charade for Sydney, as he'd be arrested in early March on charges of tampering with government documents. Now, this is where the story stops being funny. In July, a girl would come forward claiming that her and Sydney had a romantic relationship while at the school. If that sentence wasn't bad enough in and of itself, just listen to this next part. The girl was a 14-year-old freshman.
Whoa, whoa, no.
Yeah. Now, we all knew a couple freak-ass seniors or super seniors that dated freshmen. It was way too common. But this shit is way different. I don't even have to point out the obvious illegality. Sydney put the super in super senior. This fool was a super senior. In January of 2019, police arrested Sydney again. An affidavit released by Dallas PD told of the details. One day while the 14-year-old girl and the suspect were walking through the locker room, the suspect asked her to kiss him, and so she did. The girl's statement alleges that Sydney courted her over Snapchat and later drove her to a park, kissing her in the car, touching her breasts over her clothing, and asking her to have sex, which she says she declined. Sydney will bail out of jail again, facing 1 count of indecency with a child, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Of course, he vehemently denied these allegations. In an article published by Sports Illustrated,
I doubt she declined. She definitely didn't decline, bro. Let's be real.
in which they interviewed the victim's mother, she would state, "I called Coach Harris multiple times to find out who Rashawn is and what he was about," she says. Coach said he wouldn't want his daughter to date him. He said he's not a bad kid, but he's had a lot of life. He's almost like an adult. Nigga, I wonder why. I would look at my daughter's phone log and she's up at 2 and 3 o'clock talking to him. She was so attached to this boy, she said.
Boy.
After the girl learned the truth,
That's a man.
the boy she'd been smitten with was less boy than fully grown man, she was devastated. Her mother spoke about how she would cry hearing gossip about the situation around the school. Soon after, the girl transferred out of Hillcrest. Sydney would go on somewhat of a press tour, doing sit-down interviews and dropping a couple, and I can't make this up, mixtapes. Not hoop mixtapes, actual mixtapes.
Nigga, you can't come back from that nasty ass shit. What the hell?
And no, I'm not playing none of his songs. Y'all can go find that shit yourself. In one interview, he'd essentially brag about the whole situation. Take a look.
Hey, you was donkey of the day. For what reason?
Shit, 25 playing high school basketball.
Hey, that nigga's a legend.
Killing them. Killing them.
Yeah, this nigga's sick, bro. He's sick.
Lame, man. Sydney's shitty attempt at a rap career couldn't stop legal processes, though, as on July 23rd, 2019, he was sentenced to 6 years probation. Yes, probation. For indecency with a child, and 5 years probation for tampering with government documents.
Nigga, only 6 years probation, bro. Nigga, lock that nigga up now.
Common ill from our justice system.
He should have at least got like 20 years, bro. 20 years, bro. How are you finna give niggas 15 to 20 years for possession of weed, but then give this nigga 6 years probation for SAing a minor? Cause that's what that is. That's sexual assault. You feel me? That's SA. That's what that is. That's crazy, bro.
Moral of the story, There is no rewind button in life. Also, just don't diddle 14-year-old kids. Yo, thank you so much for watching this. If you made it to the end of this video, please leave a like and subscribe.
Bro, good ass video.